All right, everyone. This is Humera Fasihuddin. I'm standing in for Tara Rahmani again. And today I'll be joined by uh, Priyanka Lalwani. And she's gonna join us in just a minute. And I'm excited to meet her. She's been a mentor to real industry students who have been coming to our an hour of mentorship events, and she was at a whole bunch of them throughout the month of May, and she's got a great story to tell, so I'm really excited to have her participate. All right, so Priyanka, you're just going to want to hit that join button. That please put me on the live stream button. Do you see it? Ah, there it is. Go, bring it. There
Do
she
you
is.
see me? Yay! We've got this finally.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for doing this with us on Instagram Live.
Thank you for having me. This is incredible. Yeah.
Pretty cool. So I'm excited to get to know you, a fellow Indian, and
Mhm.
I um, I know very little about your story except for what I learned on your amazing website. So rich with resources, and there's some great interviews there. And I'd like to go back to where it all started. And so if you could take us back to a time when young Priyanka was first exposed to music, and then tell me how things unfolded and weave into that your educational career.
So I think I can go as early as I was 3 years old. And I remember my father, he had booked some lessons from an instructor. And the deal was that each one gets just 10 minutes. Okay. So me, my two siblings, my mom and dad. So we were five of us, and each one gets 10 minutes. So he comes, so the instructor came for 1 hour, and each one of us got 10 minutes to learn. So that was the deal. And that's how it pretty much started. That's the earliest memory that I have.
Wow.
And yeah, that's it. That's something that got me interested in music. And here I am.
Not very many people remember an early memory that goes back to 3 years old, and that is incredible. It must have been such a defining moment for you. Tell us about when it expanded from 10 minutes to more, and how did you how did you cultivate your music career in those early days?
So I remember that distinctly, that that I was three, because of my birthday, and also because my instructor at that time, he had a very unique style of teaching. He used to play play popular songs, but play it incorrectly. And his style was basically to have the student correct him.
That's fascinating.
And I have not come across any instructor till now, like no matter what industry you're in, you're in, whether you're into business or marketing or music or whatever, whether you're in school, you're in college, post graduation, I have never come across any other instructor who has this kind of unique style of teaching. So he used to do that, and I think the earliest memory that I have was that he played the song from the popular movie Nagin, and he played it incorrectly, and it just happened. Like I just, it just came out of me that, so you're not playing it properly. Let me show you how to play it. And I was three at that time, and that's how it started. And then those 10 minutes got extended to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then 1 hour. So that's how it started.
And what about your siblings and your parents? Did they also up their game, or did everyone realize, wow, Priyanka has a real gift for this? We should just make this her thing.
I don't know exactly what was the thought process at that time. I was too young, but I remember that my siblings, they were not interested in music as much as I was, and they had different yeah, likings. My parents, uh, they were very supportive. They were very much interested, but I think they did definitely pave the way to increase the time that I was spending with the instructor. So that much is something that I remember, but I don't remember what was the thought process or what happened at the same time in the mind of my parents and in the mind of my siblings.
My
Yeah,
guess is that they saw that you had a real ear for it and real talent, and they wanted to nurture that, as many parents do. So tell me, when was the, where did you take your music career from lessons to performances, and how did that transition go?
So that was a very, very difficult journey for me. In school, I was declared a non-singer. So they said that I didn't have the potential. I didn't have the voice of a singer. So that's how it started, and that led to a lot of self-doubt and
Mm.
like just what the hell just happened suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's how it, like, pretty much my entire schooling life I went through that experience for music. And I couldn't understand like what was wrong, and there was a lot of self-doubt and self uh, questioning during that phase. um yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that for all of you who will listen to this video, there's always going to be someone there who says something to you that like leaves you feeling great doubt. And they don't know better. They don't know what's in your heart. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know that with uh, that with time and effort, and with a growth mindset, that you can do just about anything you put your mind to. That they have it very wrong. And so tell me how you showed them that they had it very wrong.
So I didn't actually show to anyone particularly. What happened was that as I grew older, I thought that I can make decisions. So what I did was I went out and I started looking at instructors who are willing to take me as a student. So again, that was another battle. And it is another way of thinking. Generally in India, you are pushed into an environment. But here I was, where I was making a choice of reaching out to different instructors with the experience of a lot of failures and for a long time. So it was deeply embedded in me, and I knew that that rejection may come also with from the next instructor. So that was my mindset at that time. And luckily I came across one fine lady, and she was willing to take me in and teach me. And she did tell me about my voice and the uniqueness, and how it is not at par with what you listen to on the radio and the television and the movies, but how I can still uh, develop it and see where it goes. So that's where that was my next milestone.
So smart. So you found an instructor who believed in that growth mindset and could
Mhm.
see in you some potential and help you harness it. I love that. So tell me how you like how, when you what was some of the early successes that you found?
Early successes were actually, I didn't have any early successes, to be honest. I just learned for a really long time. Um, I happened to develop a very good peer system. So a peer support system that happened naturally in that group. So that happened. A lot of failures in the beginning. Live performances which didn't work. People whistling, people hooting.
Oh,
So a lot of that happened. I was scared of going for competitions. I couldn't articulate, like, I wanted to learn, I wanted to learn for the I couldn't articulate why I wanted to learn music at that point.
yeah.
So I was just learning and learning and learning, but I was afraid of going for competitions and again facing rejection because I'd faced it for such a long time. So
Yeah.
then I just got into the mindset of continuously learning. And the success came to me after 35 years. So
Wow. Talk
from
about
three,
persistence.
yeah, from 3 to 35, I think I had tiny milestones. So uh, I stuck to what I wanted to do and I did it. That's all that I did in the 35 years. So I wanted to learn music. I learned music. I approached an instructor when things were not working in my favor, and I continued learning that. And what I was doing was I was applying music to process my emotions.
Mm.
That is what I did in the 35 years. Like whatever experiences I was having in my school, in my college, in my post graduation, when I got married, when I came to US, at every point in my life, I think I was applying the knowledge that I had in music to process what I was going through, and to just release those emotions. So that's where I think I was for the last 10, 15 years. Yeah.
That's an incredibly long pathway for you. So tell me,
Yeah.
did you weave in your love of music into your college studies, like what you actually chose for a major and the early jobs that you had?
No, actually, I didn't. So I did my schooling in '98, which was a basic. There was no choice of subject in that. Then when I was in my college, I chose commerce. When I was in my MBA, I chose marketing. So there was no connection to music at all. And I think what I remember is that it was still considered to be a career choice in which you cannot excel.
Mm.
So I think that was the mindset that was around me or inside me, or even, like maybe I was conditioned to that as I grew up, and that conditioning continued to happen uh, with every conversation that I have with people around me. So that's where it was. Yeah.
And that was in India at that
Hmm.
time.
That was in India.
So then tell me when that mindset shifted for you. What happened that made you realize, maybe there's some opportunity here?
So I think I knew I had an opportunity, but I didn't have any role models till I came to US, and I didn't have the perspective where I looked at it from the positive angle of, hey, this is possible. So I didn't have those two things before when I was in India, and I think it's because of the environment that you're in. It's because of the way you're taught, you're brought up, the schooling, and the thought process during that time. But when I came to US, what happened is that I came in the recession, and I I was continuously in this circle of thought where you know uh, uh, people wanted me to people whenever I asked for career advice, people said that you should go for a job like in marketing if you're specialized in that. But there was nothing related to music at that time. So, and then because of the recession, I lost a lot of my job opportunities. So that's why I think that struggle continued till 35. I think it would have ended a little earlier if the recession hadn't, if I hadn't come here during the recession. But because of that, it sort of spiraled for another 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then what happened at 35?
So after a while, I realized that I am sort of unemployable in a typical 9 to 5 job. So then I started my own business, and that's how it got started. Yeah.
Oh, so putting like creating having a business presence
Hmm.
you gave yourself your own credibility in a sense,
Yeah.
in terms of your singing abilities and your mentoring abilities. Tell us more about that business.
Yeah. Um, so sometimes I think our skills are very unique, and they can't be positioned in different companies. So that's why you've got to that's where I think you've got to do something that I did, which is basically position yourself in a different way. And luckily, I had the knowledge and the application skills of being a marketer, so I could do that. Uh, so that's how I did it. I mean, I created a business, I created some products, and I started doing that, and I started, giving lessons and career counseling and coaching, and that's how it started. That's how it pretty much started. Yeah.
So this is something that a lot of music and art majors, film majors, they really need to hear this, because in the early days, unless you're discovered for having some incredible talent, you're really out on your own. Market, you know, whether you're a marketer or a marketeer, however you say it, you have to represent, and you may put things out there in the world and not really see anyone listening or validating. And in those early days, it requires a lot of grit and persistence. Can you tell me about that process, those early days when you were like, I'm going to market myself? Is anyone listening? How did you get the word out there?
So I think there are two parts to it. One is your emotional self, and the second is your business self, or your professional self. So no matter whoever you are, whether you are a solopreneur or an artist or a business professional, those who are working by themselves, it's very hard to put yourself out there and to face rejection, and then to start building credibility and so on. So I think at that point, it's really important to archive your life.
Mm.
Um,
What do you mean by that?
when I say archive your life, I mean that you have to take a look at each and every small milestone that you have achieved till now, and uh, appreciate that yourself.
Mm.
So there are two types of appreciation. One is an appreciation by yourself, and the second is an appreciation that you garner from people around you.
Mm.
And I think for both of them, you have to start archiving your life. You have to start putting together all your milestones and all your achievements, so that
Mm.
you understand your journey till now.
Right.
So that's how I sort of got into it. Yeah, got through it.
And your website is a great example of that. I see so many different milestones represented, from interviews to opportunities to judge, a little handwritten notes as thank yous. You've done such a wonderful job of collecting those artifacts and sharing them with the world. And I suspect that also gives people the assurance that, okay, this is a mentor that I want to hire for my 3-year-old daughter who
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so tell me about that practice, and have you gotten a lot of clients that way?
Absolutely. I mean, that has worked like wonders. I don't know if other people are doing it, but if you archive your life and if you put it out there like that, or if you give it to your marketing team, I think it's a great way to build your confidence early on. I think that's what it really, really does. It helps you be confident. It helps you position yourself, market yourself really well. It helps you speak to people. It gives you opportunities like this, where I'm speaking to people and people are listening in, and I think people are really nice, but for them to understand your story, you've got to put it out somewhere.
Right.
So yeah, so I think it's an incredible way, and especially at a time with Black Lives Matter and with COVID. Like, I'm working with a lot of black business owners, and I'm telling them also the same thing, like this is a historic time. Like, this is a really, really different time.
Yeah.
So archive your life, archive what you see, what you feel, what you notice, whatever you're going through, like just write it down, just archive it somewhere, because this is going to be like a precious moment that you want to revisit again.
And such an inspiration for those who are making art of any kind, to archive that and have that translate into works of music and art and film. Such great words of wisdom. When you were first starting with your business, how did you figure out what was the right product offering from, hour-long lessons or a classroom of multiple students. I'll come to your home. Or we'll do a session on Zoom. How did you figure out which ones you'd offer? And, think about all those artists out there who are going to graduate, may not get a job doing the art that they love, but they're thinking this thing right now. If I put up a website, how do I know what to offer and how to test that market?
I did things really, really simple. Like, I really didn't do any complicated stuff. I didn't have any budget, anything to do, anything of that sort also. So, you got to remember that also. Like in 2008, it was already a time of recession. I didn't have a budget. I was new here. So I did really simple things like, put up flyers, talk to people, tell them I'm here, be active in my community. Uh, I am an outgoing person, so that definitely helps. I was going out in events, I was networking with people. So I did really, really basic things. But I think what you can do is you can research what your competitors are doing, or you can research what people in your own industry are doing and, pick up tips from there. So I learned that a lot of people were putting up flyers and, especially in your community grocery stores and those kind of places. So that's pretty much where I started.
Pretty awesome. And so, second to last question, tell me how your practice and your offering has had to evolve in light of social distancing.
I think in light of social distancing, an incredible thing has happened. Um, Previously, there was a lot of resistance to learning online,
Mm.
and especially something which is like music lessons
Mm.
or, things that have been taught in person. There has been a huge resistance that I've faced previously because the decision maker is basically the parent, right? So there used to be a lot of resistance before, but now all that has been shattered. Like, people are more than welcome to learn online and to, be okay with that and to, navigate that process. So that's been really, really amazing. uh, yeah, so yeah.
That sounds to me like that would make you far more efficient to get many more lessons in a day, as well as open up your markets. Like you
Absolutely.
train people from the West Coast, the East Coast, even internationally.
Absolutely, it's an incredible situation that we are in, which can help solopreneurs like me to globalize myself
Mm.
and, work with people in different parts of the world. So I think that's an incredible, thing that happened because of this, where we are right now. So yeah, and I think it's going to be it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see how it goes. But any kind the level at which the resistance has been shattered is amazing, is really, really amazing. And the level of acceptance that people have today in terms of, hopping online and, coming for a lesson, or, hopping on a call and just having a chat with what they want to do in their career. It's an incredible thing that you can, you can gain from. Yeah.
I'm really happy for you. That sounds like a lot of opportunities ahead for you. So for the last question, I'm going to let you choose your own adventure. Okay. You have a choice between answering the following. Um, A, what would you tell young Priyanka who had a lot of self-doubt about the journey ahead? Or B, what would you tell those students who are going to watch this video and they're graduating into the great abyss as and they're worried about their future in light of such social unrest? So choose your own adventure.
I think the best part is that in both the adventures, my answer is the same.
Okay.
And
Give.
the answer is to archive my life or archive your life. I think that's the most important thing that you can do for yourself and create a highest level of self-awareness.
Mm.
Recessions will come and go, things like this may come again, who knows? But if you have a high level of understanding of who you are and what you want and why you're doing it, it will become really easy for you to archive your life and to present yourself, in the best possible way in the field of your choice, and achieve great things. So yeah, that's what I
I
would say.
love it. Archive your life. Another way to say that might be, capture every moment, because there's going to be no time like now. Journal, just, document everything.
I think,
And yeah,
yeah, the way I would put it is, it's not just the activity, but also uh, understand the impact of
mm,
what you're doing.
right.
uh, like, so when you archive your life, you can see the impact that is going to create in other people's lives.
Mm,
And that's, so when you know the why behind doing it, like why are you trying to do it and how it impacts other people, that's when you'll try to understand, that's when you can ask yourself, this was good, now do I want to do it again?
right. So it's more about reflection and like
Absolutely.
glean from it your lessons learned, and, sort of like be present in the moment.
That's also important, definitely. Yeah, yeah, don't think too much, don't plan too much, enjoy
Right.
the present also, definitely. Yeah.
Priyanka, it's been such a wonderful time getting to know you. Thank you so much for being on the call with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Talk to you again soon.
Take care. Talk
Bye
to you
bye.
soon. Bye.